Hey,
Hey, Tim. Oh my
how are
gosh.
you, gorgeous?
Hi, how are you? Hi, everybody. I
I
am
am
Wendy Stuart, and this is
Tim Moss. Hi,
Yay.
and we are your hosts for If These Walls Could Talk. Oh
Oh,
my
Tim, if I could talk, my gosh.
thank God they can't.
And keeping with that theme, today we have an incredible guest, very special, the one
Yeah.
and only Margoh Channing, and she
Yeah.
is going to spill the tea.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, we originally thought we were going to have this is our inaugural show. This is our
Yes.
first show together.
I'm so excited.
And we were going to do it at Pangea because we love Pangea down in the East Village. But with sources, it's going to be a couple weeks till we can get down there. So we will come back at you live from Pangea for These Walls, If These Walls Could Talk. So Wendy, how have you been?
Oh my gosh, it's been so crazy lately. I think we're in like a new moon, or, everybody who knows Steven Menendez, he put up a whole horoscope thing about this new moon and writing down all your desires and everything. So I did all that, but it's really been kind of like running amok, little things like I couldn't get through the turnstile in the subway today, so I had to jump it. Oh, well, because it said just used. I don't like anyone telling me I was just used.
Yeah.
How have you been, Tim? What's been going on in your life?
Good. Just running here, running there, just all those types of things. So
we're out there. We're definitely out there.
Absolutely.
Out there during this pandemic is everything. As everybody knows, we got to start being super careful. Not that we weren't before, but numbers are going up. None of us know what our Turkey Day is going to be. I mean, this is.
And we're a week away.
We're a week away, and it's so discombobulated, and people are canceling things all over the place. What can I tell you? I'm going to grab me a turkey, some stuffing, a sweet potato, and call it a day.
Yeah, there you go. That sounds like a plan. And speaking of a plan, how about we bring in our wonderful special guest, Margoh Channing? How about that?
All right.
Please welcome Margoh Channing. Yay!
Hey, cheers.
Oh my gosh, Margoh Channing is day drinking again. Why am I not surprised?
Listen, I went out and got mammolias,
Day drinking and day drag.
This is actually a vodka mammolia. Is that mimosa? I'm sorry. It's actually it's a screwdriver and
I was going to ask, what's a mammolia? It sounded like a magnolia.
Oh.
A vodka magnolia. Margoh, you're going to make it on your next show that you do, your Saturday night show.
Yes, my Saturday night show. I have one coming up Saturday night with a special guest, one of the prominent drag queens up here, Jacqueline Demera. So we're going to do a special song of, Cheer Again. That's all I'll say. We're going to do a song welcoming in the Biden administration because nobody else will.
That's right. It doesn't matter. We'll do it. Will you do it, Margoh, on your show?
Yes, I will. But so I'm really excited. I love having guests. I had guests a month ago with my friend Tom. My director was up here. So I decided to have another guest. So Jacqueline's going to stop by. We're going to make our drink and sing a song. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
So what is the drink going to be? Can you say now, or you want to keep it a secret till Saturday night?
Oh, no, I can say the drink is going to be a limoncello whiskey spritzer.
God,
yum.
It sounds really good. And you know what? It's got maraschino cherries in it, so that's all I care about.
Exactly.
You were maraschino cherries. I probably said it wrong. Maraschino cherries.
Maraschino. That's maraschino.
Oh, I can't say it. You got my drift. I love them because they're so sweet. Is that your thing? You like to have them in your drinks?
Oh God, I love them. Yes, I just eat them out of the jar sometimes. They're just so good.
They are absolutely out of this world. So we're looking forward to your Saturday night show. So what's been going on in Margoh's life? As a matter of fact, while we're on that subject, let's talk about Margoh's life. How did you get started doing drag?
Oh my God, I have to go all the way back to 1997.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I started doing drag on Halloween, pretty much like probably every other drag queen, right? With my best friend Michael Dantico, we used to dress up and everything. And after a couple of years, we got better and we got better. And then I won.
Firstly, where was that? Was that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Providence?
Yeah, Providence, Rhode Island.
And
Yeah.
that's where you are now. Uh-huh.
Yes, I moved back. Well, I'm in Warwick now, but yes,
Uh-huh.
so so we would do drag, and then finally this one year, they used to have competitions at all the bars. So he was Tracy Turnblad, and I was like, and I was just dressed as, glamorous gown and, blah, blah, blah. And I ended up winning best drag. So,
Oh my God.
yeah, so at a couple of the bars. So he won once, I won once, and then, no, he won twice, I won once. So I was like, oh, maybe I'm not so bad at this, And then right after that, I was approached if I would run for Miss Gay Rhode Island, which was, a pageant up here. And I said, oh, sure, why not? I was like, I'll do that. And never really done formal drag or anything, and had a great time. I did Judy Garland as my talent.
Cool.
Yeah, and then I came in second runner-up for my first pageant, which I thought was fun. Yeah, so that's how I got started. And then, but there was a promoter in the audience that night who saw me do Judy Garland, and he came right up to me, and that's really how my career started. Was he came up to me and was like, oh, would you be interested in doing a Judy at Carnegie Hall show up in Boston?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so I went, after that I went straight up to Club Cafe, and I did my Judy Garlands at Carnegie Hall, and then I did them in Providence, and ended up doing them to, various places. I subbed for people in P-Town back in the day for a show called Illusions and all this. So it just really started there, and then I never stopped. It just kept going.
But you know what? Look at how, Tim, and I know you'll agree with me on this, look how organic it was. I mean, really, from like slapping on a frock at Halloween to, everything just mushroomed from there. I love your story, because a lot of people's stories, especially nowadays, right? Because since RuPaul, everyone's, there's so much competition in the area.
Oh,
and these kids are working so hard. Come on, we watch them. They're working so hard. I love that, just the way it just built on itself for you.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I always joke that like the first 10 years of drag, I didn't make any money, because when I first started doing drag, it was at the height of the AIDS crisis. Before that. So, and I also joined organizations like the Rhode Island Imperial Court, and it wasn't about making money at that time. You know what I mean? It was about together for community. So listen, my hat's off to the RuPaul girls and all that they do, but it just changed so much from when the reasons why I started doing drag were very different than probably what their idea of drag was. So I think I've always kind of struggled with that a little bit, but listen, I love making money just like everybody else, but that's never been my main focus for drag. It's always been to me about the art.
So now you started drag in Providence, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then you moved to New York.
Yep, I moved to New York in 2002, pretty much like soon after 9/11.
Oh, wow.
My ex and I, Jeff, a.k.a. Manny Champagne, moved to New York. And then I was doing the Liza and Judy stuff in New York for a little bit. I did some of the competitions at Barracuda and a couple of different places. And I just realized, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to make a name for myself here by doing Judy and Liza, because there's already people that are doing it. It's not. So that's when I came up with the whole Margoh Boozy Floozy, from Bangor, Maine, the daughter of poor fishmonger and all that.
Don't drink too many Margoh. That's what I watch. Cheers.
The one thing is, I love the backstory of Margoh. Can you tell us a little bit more from Bangor, Maine?
Margoh is a daughter of a poor fishmonger from Bangor, Maine. So my original theme song was I took coal miner's daughter and changed it to fishmonger's daughter, and then it just grew from that.
I never heard you sing that song.
Oh no, I think I have the track. I'll have to look for it. I haven't done it in a long time.
I
want to be a fishmonger's daughter in a shack, like on a lake in Bangor, Maine. I can't remember what the words were.
No,
that was the first. So so I actually, Manny and I came up with the whole concept like over a couple of nights drinking, and then it just kind of went from there. And then Margoh is a sexploitation star. She did some Russ Meyer films, and then she became the world's most decorated extra.
But the mother and the aunts.
Yeah, my mother. Oh God, what is my mother's name? I can't remember. No, my aunt Trudy invited me to New York to work at her bar on Delancey Street in New York City. So that's how Margoh ended up in New York. So and my mother's name is Sully. And Sully's like wretched, a very horrible woman, and so yeah, so. There's a lot. I mean, I miss doing like the tipsy shows and stuff because I explain the whole story and like how things got to where they were, and then it just kind of my whole idea about Margoh was just never achieving exactly what you want to achieve, but that's okay.
That's what I mean? So totally okay, right?
So it's kind of, well, it has to be okay because that's why people commit suicide and get upset. So I'm, like I always say, listen, I started out with no talent and built it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, so I just feel like that's kind of what Margoh's character is that doesn't get discouraged. She just wants to keep going and trying it.
Is a character that so many people can relate to, not just performers. One of the things I enjoy about your Saturday night show when you do it is you just start talking about Margoh's life and the things that are happening to you, and it's not all sugar coated, right? Margoh's life is really not glitzy a lot of the time. The most glitzy it gets is the gown you have on and the jewelry and your hair. But it's your realness, right, that people can connect to. And I love that. Yeah,
I think like it's like what I was talking about before, when you create a character like Margoh, which is so over the top, and then when you realize like something like a pandemic comes along and you're like, hey, I can't like keep this character up, on a live show, without the feedback from an audience, because I really thrive off of that. So I'm like, okay, well, then Margoh Channing, aka Bill Shea, is just gonna have to do these cocktail hours because my cabarets when I do Margoh are very scripted. I know exactly what I'm gonna say. I do but these are just very relaxed, and so I'm kind of mixing in my own life with Margoh, so that's kind of how it's working out. So.
Well, I love that. And it's interesting how well you had, I talk about this with Tim, that we've all had to reinvent ourselves. Yeah. I mean, damn it, here we are on Zoom today, and Tim knows I'm not a virtual person at all. Like you, I need to have that audience, the approval, the sound of the applause, blah, 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 the whole 9 yards. But yet, Margoh, your cocktail hour, the approval and the applause are those comments, and you have right. And Tim, for you too, that's that's what we have now, and that's what we have to work with.
And all artists, we've all had to be creative with how to get ourselves out there and keep our art out there.
Right. Right. Exactly. So you're doing a terrific job. Now you have some live shows coming up, don't you?
Yeah, I recorded Ike Avelli's Christmas show, so that's recorded. But I was asked to do. There's going to be a live streaming show, but we're going to be at a location called the Coliseum, I think, for Pride, Rhode Island. So they asked me to come and sing a song. So I'm going to do a Christmas song. So I'll actually, be out somewhere performing, even though it's live streaming. And then what was the other thing? Oh my God, there was something else coming up. I can't remember now.
I think you have like 2 Christmas shows coming up. So
yeah, so Ike's and then also the Pride show. Yeah, and then I am going to submit my show. A lot of the drag queens do a Christmas shows and stuff up at a theater in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, which is one of those old like vaudeville theaters. I'm going to submit my show for next year there. It's called the Stadium Theater. It's pretty. It's really nice. So my friends up here, LaDiva Jones, they're doing a show December 10th, and Kitty Litter is doing one. So I'm going to go see them. But it's a nice big old theater, and they're doing spacing. I think they're only allowing like 150 people or something in it, even though it's like probably a 1,500 seat.
Right.
But so I'm going to submit my show Tipsy there maybe next year. So I mean, it's funny. I teeter back and forth between, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. Drag is such a, it's so hard. It's like, and but then actually the live shows kind of saved me these cocktail hours, because I don't have to, it's kind of, in a way, it's nice just because I can get done up here. I don't have to go anywhere. It's easy to get done up, and so it's kind of kept me going.
And it's relaxing to do.
Yeah.
And in terms of keeping your audience going, and Tim, I'm sure you'll agree with me on this, you're giving your audience something to watch. I only once missed one of your shows because I was doing another show at the same time, but I watch Alexis Flame and Tony Holmperm. They're hilarious. I now have my TV programming is live stream and watching my friends. Although, like the first 2 weeks of the pandemic, I almost went broke because I was trying to watch everybody, and I was trying to
tip everybody.
Venmo. So I just, it was $10, and at the end of the week, it was like I had spent $250 tipping friends. It cost me more to watch everyone on live stream than to go to a club.
I know, it's funny. I'm calling Venmo is like the glitter of live stream, because like I'm tipping you guys, and then you guys tip me, and then I tip my friends Ladiva, and then they tip me back like the next week. So we're kind of going around in a circle, I noticed, which is fine, which is fabulous. So I think it's great. Because it is hard, because a lot of the girls up here, some of them, that was their living 100%, doing drag brunches and their drag shows on Fridays and Saturday nights up here. So they've lost all that. So a lot of them actually do need the money, they have other sources of income, so but hopefully God and would maybe get through this winter.
It's really amazing how this pandemic has affected the entertainment industry. Because again, and I mean, we took a damaging blow, and I don't know when it's going to recover, because when other industries can recover, but until people are comfortable with going into a theater or a nightclub in an enclosed setting next to each other, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while until the clubs and theaters really make a comeback. I'm not trying to be a downer, Debbie Downer or anything. Just a realist. That's just the way it is, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean, even my sister and stuff. In Connecticut, she used to take my nieces and nephews to Broadway, especially during the holidays, to go see, the grand different things and stuff like that. And she just, she said to me, she's like, God, she's like, when I think about all the people that are out of work just in Broadway, just everybody, she's like, I can't. It's horrible, because people are, they're just as upset about it too, like people that go and enjoy theater. I mean, it must be horrible.
The whole nature of auditioning too has changed. Believe me, it used to take me less time to get on the subway, go to an audition, be put on tape, and leave than it does my auditions. Tomorrow, I have 3 auditions. I'm going to have everything set up for it, change my makeup and hair and outfit for it. And then they give you these godforsaken scripts that like 4 pages, but it's not just a script. Then you have to click on a link not to upload your video. And then when you click on that link, then there's forms to fill out.
Oh my God.
Ask for 3 current pictures, not a professional one, the way you look in real life. And then you've got questions.
And then a full body, and all this. And when I'm by myself here at the apartment, how do you do a full body?
I was going to ask you, how do you do that? And Tim, how do you do one where I have one where it's a part with a reader. What if you don't have any? What do you do for that?
Yeah, no, I read it in my mind. I'll deliver my line. I'll give them a chance. I'll respond to what I'm thinking, and then deliver my second
line. When you submit your tape, you don't have anybody reading back with you?
No.
No. Oh my God. Yeah.
About it.
Yeah, but I did a television shoot the other day out. It was on the East River, and it was a psychic reading. And my audition tape for that, because they said, please send in an audition tape explaining why you should get a psychic reading. And it was literal. My audition tape was literally, bitch, please. Have you seen 2020? Is our country going to recover? Is my career going to recover? Right. And I'm going to be 60 in a few months. Will I ever find love? Hell yes, I need a psychic reading.
are you? I'm glad you Red. Glad you said it like it was. Now, are you allowed to say who the psychic was?
Her name was Jensen, a young girl. I wasn't familiar with her.
Wow. I'm totally into psychic readings.
Yeah.
Do you think she read you correctly? You think you left there like knowing your future?
No, I don't. I don't. I'm not going to say that it was a incredible reading that down to the core of my soul I could feel. No, it was. I think a lot of acting and stuff, yeah, for television. But I was probably the seventh or eighth one out of 15 that day that they were reading. So
well, maybe she was spent. It's bad when a psychic is spent, right?
Yeah, and it would be hard to tune in to so many different things throughout the day at the drop of a hat,
Right.
Just my opinion.
I have my personal reader on Facebook, Jennifer Johnson, the Swamp Witch. She reads my cards like every 6 months or so. I love Jennifer. She's always spot on.
Mark, I would like to share that information because I've gone to some of the best psychics and I want to continue going to the best psychics. And if you think she's good, I would be interested. She reads
cool. She's very in tune. Like she gives me chills sometimes. She just reads tarot. She's a tarot reader, but she's really good. Very good. I love her. I've been reading with her now for 6, 7, it's probably 10 years now.
So you went to her months ago. What kinds of things can you share with us here? What kinds of things she told you?
Well, she did say that money was going to be attracting to me, and I have to say it has been in weird ways. I've noticed weird, I get a certain amount of money every time when I do tips, regardless of whether it's for charity or whatever. I usually get around the same amount, but when I had Tom, the director, on here, it quadrupled. So I was like, oh shit, I made that much money. I was like, wow, so little things here and there I notice or come through, and with my day job, which I won't go into, but I'm going to be, compensated for something I'm losing with the old company to the new company. So that's going to be kind of a big chunk of change. So I was like, oh, all right. I didn't know about that. She had said, because I was worried about the house. I bought the house.
Right.
I'd never bought a house before. And I was nervous, just like everybody else is.
And you just bought the house recently, within the past 6 months, right?
Yeah, in July. Yeah.
So you came with a neighbor that takes your garbage out.
Yes. who I felt bad about that because my other next door neighbors were blaming the slope guy in the neighborhood, but it wasn't him. It was just some rando guy. And I was like, what are you doing? I caught him in the act, and he was like, it's so bizarre. But anyway.
Wow.
But yeah, so everything's working out with the house.
What was that?
What's up?
What was that with the trash? You saw somebody taking your trash or something?
Yeah, so anyway, it's like you have to take your trash out here yourself.
Right.
So I have 3 barrels, one for regular trash, one for recyclables, and one for paper. So I'm only one person that's living here. I'm not going to fill a trash can every week.
Right.
You know what I mean? So a couple of weeks, I didn't take out the trash because I was like, all right, there's one garbage bag in there, stupid. Why am I going to take it out? And 2 Mondays in a row, or 2 Tuesdays in a row, because it goes, Monday night it goes out. I walk out to go get my coffee in the morning, and my trash had been taken out. And I was like, who the hell's taking out my trash? I'm like, so I went to my neighbors.
Moved the trash barrels out.
And the thing is, you have to open a gate to get onto my lawn to get where the barrels are. So they're coming out.
Creepy.
So I finally, after the second time, I was like, all right, let me go ask Kathleen, who lives across the street, because I had met her, and I thought, well, maybe she's just doing it because maybe she thinks I don't know when trash goes out. So I went and asked her, and she was like, oh, it's probably Jerry. He has Tourette's, and he kind of walks around the neighborhood, and sometimes he'll move things and blah, blah, blah. So I went next door. She goes, well, let's go ask Shirley. Maybe her son did it. And I'm like, so I went next door to Shirley, and Shirley's like, oh, yeah, it's probably Jerry.
Everybody knows.
So everyone's blaming Jerry. So then it stopped. So I, nobody was taking it out for a month. And then I was getting out of the shower, and all of a sudden I heard someone dragging, a barrel. And I'm like, oh my God. And I lift up this, my thing, and I'm like, hello. And the guy's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, I said, why are you taking out my garbage? And he's like, oh, well, I'm your neighbor. I'm just being neighborly. And I'm like, I said, if you're my neighbor and you're being neighborly, why don't you introduce yourself to me first? You know, so I'm naked. I'm literally naked, yelling out through the bathroom thing. So I couldn't go outside. And the guy's like, what's your problem? And I said, my problem is that my garbage does not need to be taken out every week. And he's like, you're going to get rats. And I was like, I'm like,
You can't make this up.
and I said, listen, I said, I'm not going to get rats. I said, I can deal with taking out my own garbage, right? And then he's like, fine, suit yourself. And he ran off, and I've never seen him again.
So I guess you met Jerry.
Okay, welcome.
No, but it wasn't Jerry. It wasn't Jerry, though. That was the thing.
Oh,
Jerry, I know who Jerry is. Like, he's very distinctive. This was just some guy, and because I was in the bathroom and couldn't go outside, I didn't know where he came from or where he lives or anything. It was really bizarre.
That is a definite weird story.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I'm the kind of person that needs everything done for them. That would have been a blessing for me.
Hey, listen, I don't like I said, it was just odd.
Things done in the house too.
Well, no, I did. See, that's the whole thing. I have 2 massive trees in my side yard here, and there were so many leaves, and I bought a rake and I bought a little blower and stuff. And I'm like, I started to go out there last week, and I'm like, oh my God, no way. So I called around and I got a couple of quotes. So I had a leaf blower guy here today. They cleaned my yard today. They did a really good job. So I have no problem hiring people, you know.
Was he cute? Was the leaf blower guy cute? It's always cute when they're good looking and have the leaf blower.
Yeah, he is cute. He's cute. His name is Angel.
I bet.
Yeah, but I think he's married, unfortunately. I mean, I did bat my eyes and I pushed up my hair a little bit, but he didn't seem to be paying attention.
and you did the little Sharon Stone cross the legs. And
shoulder.
Oh, I never wear underwear. I mean, it's so overrated.
Well, hopefully Angel will be back. I was wondering, Margoh, do you think this is a question I always think about, and I've heard stuff from friends of mine that do drag. It's hard to meet guys when you do drag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, of course, I started out a little differently because when I started doing drag when I was already in a relationship, so with Manny. So we were together for 22 years. So, and then that ended. But yeah, I actually had a date last 2 weeks ago with a nice kid. I mean, he's a kid because he was 26.
Wow, you're robbing the cradle, Margoh.
Listen, age is not a thing for me. I'll date people my own age, a little older.
Yeah.
I dated older guys when I was younger. I've never been an age person like that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, for me, I don't like getting older, but I don't, if some 20-year-old wants to hop on it, I'm not going to turn them away. No, but I'm just saying, but anyway, so we had a nice thing, he came over for coffee. There was no sex or anything. So I just told him, because we were, in the kitchen, and I have a Judy Garland thing in the kitchen and a picture of me. So he's looking at him and he's like, oh, I like Judy Garland and blah, blah, blah. And I said, I just might let you know now I'm a drag queen, and he, and he's like, oh, and he explained how he went to P-Town and Ben's and all. Yeah. And then we talked back and forth during election week, texting and stuff. And then now he's ghosting me.
Oh my God.
You know what? But Margoh,
so I'm not sure if it was the drag thing or he just wasn't interested in general, but I was I kind of felt oh, maybe I told him about the drag too soon.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it is tough. It is hard because, out of drag, I'm just kind of very, Irish and, a bit bearish. So, I mean, you looking at me, you probably wouldn't even think I do drag, you know what I mean? So I guess it's kind of a stark thing when, or, black and white, when you tell someone, oh, I'm also a drag queen, they probably don't what?
I don't know, for me as a what do they call me? Cisgender female, been in the scene for a very long time. I think it would be so great to have a partner that did drag. Being a performer, I would be so off on helping that partner and seeing the partner's success and the clothes.
Helping with the makeup and.
Oh yeah, no, it'd be great. Yeah, watching
the persona on stage, like our friends Jed and Joe. Joe, I love when Jed is performing because Jed's not doing drag, he's doing burlesque, but Joe is like ready to burst and taking pictures and everything.
Yeah.
I don't understand why partners would be put off by that. I really don't. I think we need a change of attitude out there. What do you think, Tim Moss?
I agree completely. I think what it is the LGBT community, or the gay community in particular, at least our generation was kind of conditioned that younger macho guys are the prize or are the trophies. And if you show too much femininity, that's a bad thing. But I think this generation coming on is much, much more open to it with RuPaul's Drag Race, and all of that has opened a lot of minds. To it.
I would like to think I agree with you. I'm hoping to. I'd love to talk to a few people, right, that are in their 20s to get their real take on it. How do you feel about that? And hopefully it has changed. We all have to be more open, with our attitude. Everything's very fluid now.
Yeah, honestly, at this point in my life, I'd love to date a drag queen, So, bring it on, drag queens. Come my way, So, yeah, I think that would be great.
We could do a sister act together. So, Margoh, my husband is sitting here and he's bugging me. He says, you got to talk about why you and Tim call the show If These Walls Could Talk. So, Tim, take it away.
Well, I honestly don't know. I'm just like, that's a good name. I like that. But I mean, we know so many people and so many different situations and stories and backgrounds and all of that.
Right.
And even between the two of us, we've got If These Walls Could Talk.
Oh my God, if these walls could talk. And, like today, in the future, we are going to be at a Pangea, and there's been so many great performers there. You've been amongst them, Margoh. Tim Faye, Penny Arcade, Amber. I mean, I could just go right down the list. And, oh my gosh, my cousin, Risa, text me, and she saw, pictures I put up at Pangea. She's like, I haven't seen this cousin in ages. And she had a classically great voice. And I had heard she had done some cabaret. She says, how do you know Pangea? She says, I performed there many times.
Oh,
so, I know. So
wow.
it's so cool to me to take and honor, a place that has been so open and welcoming to performers. We need that. Listen, if I had my way, most places would turn into cabaret. I'd have people performing everywhere. I look at this pandemic as an opportunity. If they can figure out how to ventilate stuff, people are craving entertainment,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and that's what all of us can bring to the party. So that's where If These Walls Could Talk, that's where it originated from. Everyone's got a story, right? And it's really great. Let's get those stories out there.
Oh yeah, if for the title of this show, it's perfect for a Pangea because, Pangea always has something a little extra going on there.
Yeah.
And that back room can tell some serious stories. Let me tell you, pick the right place. I stumbled in there it must have been 13 or 14 years ago, I think.
Darling, Margoh stumbles in everywhere usually.
I think I was with Linda. I think I was Linda Simpson or somebody, or Flotil. I don't know who I was with, and my eyes were wide open after that night, and I was like, oh, and because Pink, it was weird. Pink had been there having her birthday party in the front room, and then we stumbled into the back room, and honey, there was all sorts of stuff going on there. I was like, oh, yes, all right, we're coming back. But but they've kept the village alive in many, many ways.
Right. Right. And now I think it's time to turn it back. We keep them going, and we keep our performers going. That, and in essence, that is what this show is going to be about. We want to have all people on from the arts. It can be artists, performing artists, just people that are making a difference through, who they are, who their personality is. So that's what we want to do.
Yeah, that's important.
Now, Margoh, one thing I want to talk about is traveling, because you've traveled a lot. You've taken your show around.
Yeah.
firstly, your shows are all different, and like the one that I saw at Dixon Place about Judy Garland.
Yes, yep.
That was amazing. It was
Yeah.
so deep and so real and so honest. And
Sure. Yeah, that's my personal story, which actually I didn't know if you're going to ask about it, but I did. So I put my albums here because you know, when I was a kid, all I ever, honestly, I was obsessed with music. You know, my sister, my brother, and myself, we all, you know, were big music people. And you know, my brothers and sister were a little older than me, so I was kind of stuck, and I didn't have a ton of friends and all that stuff. So music, you know, being the little gay boy and just being different, it felt weird. I just didn't feel right, and so music became my outlet. And I was obsessed with like Casey Kasem's American Top 40 and all that type of stuff. And I knew then all I ever wanted to do was to be a singer. But of course, unfortunately, when you can't, it's kind of hard. But anyway, so yeah, so the show is kind of based on the two albums that survived.
Oh my God, rumors!
yeah.
No, so when I was 12, we had a house fire and we lost over like a 400 album. I still kind of get choked up. We had about 400 albums between my sister, my brother, and I, and we lost all of them except for these two albums. So this was one, Fleetwood Mac, Rumors. As you can see the singeing on it, right? It was right in the middle. This one was in the middle. And then the second one to survive was mine, The Judy at Carnegie Hall. So this is
cool.
And I've carried them with me this whole time. And so the show is For the Love of Judy is based on, you know, my life, but it explains about how, you know, performing as Judy gave me the, you know, the guts to sing in my own voice. So that's kind of how it happened. You know, I felt like I picked an amazing person to impersonate, and I felt like I learned everything that there was to learn about performing by lip syncing to Judy Garland. And eventually it led me to giving me the courage to sing in my own voice. So that's how my whole cabaret career started, was just, you know, I took a leap of faith. I was like, all right, I'm going to try to sing. And I created this crazy character, and it could be bad because she's not supposed to be good anyway. So, but that's what the play is about. So yeah, when you're bringing that up, I really need to go back and revisit the play.
Amazing show. It really is.
So, yeah, because I did it for 3 nights. It was 3 nights, and it didn't get picked up by anybody or anything like some shows do. But you know, I was like, I need to go back and revisit the play. So thank you for bringing that up. But yeah, so,
it was very touching. That was a very beautiful show. Amazing.
Tim, I want to thank you because, you know, I only met Margoh like November of last year, and then she performed in my party. I had never ever seen Margoh perform. But the fact that you brought this up, you know, here you have a new audience member right here, and tons of people like me. All the more reason. Let's get this show out there, right, Tim?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so like it's just like, and I had never done a play before. When I did it, like it was my first time. Like I had I hired an actor to play me, and like, you know, and had to go through equity and all this stuff because, you know, when you're producing all your own stuff, you have to do everything. So it was like a whole, you know, new experience. But it was probably the best 3 nights of my life for me personally, just because it was a different, you know, doing a play as opposed to performing just in drag, you know. So it was interesting. But I think what I'm going to do when I revive this, it's going to be a 1-person show. It originally was a 1-person show, but then I hired an actor to play me, and I played Judy. But I think I'm going to make it a 1-person show like it originally was supposed to be.
That could be very interesting. Yeah, that would be incredible.
So I think that's what I'm going to do. I just didn't have honestly, I have to be honest, I didn't have the courage to play it myself.
I totally understand. I totally get that, because in that show you go into dark places in your past that are hard to revisit. I can relate to that. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna like start crying.
Yeah. But it's
no, because I honestly did not. I was like, I can't. This is literally like 3 months before the show was supposed to go, and I changed the whole thing, and I was like, or 6 months, like 4 months or something, and so it was hard because I was like, I can't do this. I can't play myself. I just don't know how I'm going to do it. You know, like But now that I'm far removed from it and I can look at it now and I'm like, okay, I could do it. I can do it.
Yeah, look how you've probably grown even from the pandemic and having to reconfigure yourself for the pandemic. I'm going to stay on you, Margoh. I want you to. Tim knows I'm like tenacious this way.
No, of anything I did for myself, I think just because it was my story, and I felt like, and it was told by my point of view, and like. So some family members could come and some couldn't because it was going to be very hurtful to some people.
Yeah. Right.
So it was really, and the feedback I got about it was tremendous, so, and I just think you when you put expectations like the Margoh character, okay, this is going to be a big hit. I'm going straight to Broadway, like that's what you want. That's what you think. And then when it doesn't happen, you're just kind of like, oh God, not again. I have to So it's just the expectations are always so big, and so anyway, but I am dedicated to getting back to that show because it does deserve to see light of day again, I think.
Well, shifting gears a little bit, I also just wanted to touch on travels because we've done a lot of traveling together and we've done a lot of shows together. And Augusta, Georgia.
Yeah.
Oh, Tim, the way you're laughing, I know this is going to be a good story. I want to hear this one.
Well, just the thing is, I was in Florida and I had to fly in to meet them. For one thing, I was coming from like total right-wing country for days. I had been down there for a couple of weeks, I think, and then we fly in, and our show, we're doing 50 Shades of Gay, Ike Velli's 50 Shades of Gay.
Right.
And we fly into I fly into Augusta, Georgia, and they had driven down, and I met them there, and it was at a clothing optional gay men's resort. So I walk in, I'm like, there's penises everywhere. I'm just like, go from one extreme to the other in the matter of like,
you thought you had died and went to heaven. You thought you had died and went to heaven.
But the thing,
I thought I died and went to Drunkville because I got so drunk, so nervous.
But the drive back to New York in
the
freeze, that was we got to laughing because you had Ike Velli, Margoh Channing, me, and Jezebel. And
I lost my voice for 2 days because I was laughing so hard. We were laughing. We were singing like TV theme songs and
about all we all have kind of a dark sense of humor too, but we were all joking about like people who from those past sitcoms that have died, like I wonder whatever happened to Bob Denver from Gilligan's. He died.
Oh my God.
Just went down this long list. It was so terrible, but it was so hysterical.
But it was so funny at the same time.
Yeah, but did so. It was just, again, you talk about organic, and it was a long ass drive, but it was so much fun. I would do it again with you guys.
We had so much fun. Okay, yeah, I know. I'm like, that's the thing I miss. Like, and then we were up in Rochester together, and
yes.
You all did that Fringe Festival in Rochester, right?
Yeah, Rochester Fringe. Yeah. So I would like to get back to doing some fringes, but I don't want to do online ones because I want to wait till we get back to normal.
Exactly. Well, actually, this is our first show, and you are our first guest. So, like Margoh Channing has time and time again, she popped our cherry.
She did.
I'm so glad.
Margoh is a virgin for the only time in her life.
And I will divulge, since it's you guys, since it's you, and I know the freaks that are probably watching this show, I am a top. So if you're interested,
there you go.
Send me a Facebook in message.
And what about
the right spelling of Margoh on Facebook in case they want to reach you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, no, Tim's got it right on there. Margoh Channing, yeah, that's the right one.
Cool. Oh yeah, there it is. It's right there, looking at me too. I just didn't want you to lose out.
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram, both under Margoh Channing, the same spelling. So yep. Mm-hmm.
But
I'm on YouTube, but I don't usually use YouTube too much anymore. But I have a lot of clips on my YouTube page, Margoh Channing. So if you want to go look, I actually think there's clips of For the Love of Judy on there.
Oh,
I actually have the whole play recorded, so you two are gonna have to come up and visit me, and we'll watch it.
Deal. I would love that.
I would love to. I would totally love to. Margoh, thank you so much. You were as delightful and as fabulous and as honest as you would be. Cheers, darling.
Drink up.
I have some iced tea.
Cheers.
Okay, have water.
I know I don't know. So many. Actually, the one thing about this pandemic, a lot of people have been going sober. I'm like I'm losing everybody. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. Eventually, nobody's going to be drinking anymore.
No, I'm not sober. I just can't day drink. It just discombobulates me. But I'll be there with you Saturday night. I'll pour a glass for you.
Saturday at 7 o'clock, we'll be on. See you guys then. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you, Margoh. And thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank
we
you.
got our first show.
Thanks, everybody who's watching.
And everybody stay tuned. In 2 weeks, we should be back at Pangea.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Love you guys.
All right, love you. Bye.
Bye.